परीक्षा पे चर्चा प्रतियोगिता 2026 में आपका स्वागत है। शिक्षा मंत्रालय भारत सरकार का यह विविध सहभागिता कार्यक्रम एक अभियान के रूप में प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के प्रयासों से सतत बढ़ रहा है। उद्देश्य है छात्रों, अभिभावकों, शिक्षकों और पूरे समाज को एक साथ लाना। प्रधानमंत्री जी की पुस्तक एग्जाम वॉरियर्स शिक्षार्थियों को सकारात्मकता व आत्मविश्वास के साथ परीक्षाओं में सम्मिलित होने की प्रेरणा देती है। NIOS इसी प्रेरणा को साकार करते हुए शिक्षार्थियों में चरित्र निर्माण और व्यक्तित्व के सर्वांगीण विकास के साथ साथ कौशल व उद्यमिता को केंद्र में रख आगे बढ़ रहा है। परीक्षा पे चर्चा PPC 2026 शिक्षार्थियों को खुशी से सीखने और तनाव मुक्त परीक्षाओं की तैयारी के लिए प्रेरित करती है। इसके 9वें संस्करण में भाग लेने के लिए NIOS के मुक्त बेसिक शिक्षा स्तर गा, माध्यमिक व उच्चतर माध्यमिक स्तर के शिक्षार्थियों से निवेदन है कि आप सभी इस अभियान में पंजीकृत होकर जुड़े। शिक्षार्थी अपने स्वरचित पोस्टर व वीडियो इस ईमेल पर साझा कर सकते हैं। ऑनलाइन पंजीकरण की अंतिम तिथि 11 जनवरी 2026 है। NIOS के साथ पढ़ें और बढ़ें, आत्मविश्वास रखें और परीक्षाओं में तनाव मुक्त रहें।
Good afternoon, dear learners. So today we are going to discuss on the lesson 5 of our senior secondary course, that is Krishi production, processing and marketing. So our topic of discussion today, that is soil health and plant nutrition. So dear learners, after today's session you will learn that how you can summarize the importance of soil in agriculture as well as human life. You will also be able to explain how a soil is originated from a parent rock, and you can also know how to support a farmer to manage the soil sustainably for crop production, and also you will also be able to discuss the various technique for the protection of soil from erosion as well as soil degradation. Now dear learners, let's understand what do we know by
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा और परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर। दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने। स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
Welcome back, dear learners. So sorry for today's technical glitch. Let's continue on the today's topic, that is soil health and plant nutrition. So let's first understand why the soil health matters, or why we considered soil health as an important component or important property of our environment as well as ecosystem. So we all know that soil is a actually living place for numerous living organisms like algae, bacteria, fungi as well as virus. Therefore, the soil is called as a soul of infinite life, and in this soil the plant obtains their food material as well as water from the soil, and it can also provide the mechanical support to the crop through the anchorage of their root. However, the cultivable land, or we can say the cultivable soil, is decreasing day by day due to the increased population as well as pollution of the soil. So we need the scientific knowledge to manage the soil more efficiently for our food production. So dear learners, let's understand how soil govern the food production as a natural body for plant growth. And we have understood that soil is a living body, and we can define the soil as it is a thin layer of three-dimensional polyphasic dynamic natural body on the upper portion of the earth crust, which supports the plant growth. Here actually polyphasic means the soil contain the liquid, solid as well as the gaseous phases. In the soil, the solid phase is itself the various types of soil rock as well as soil minerals. Coming to the liquid phase, there are soil water, or we can say there are soil solution from where plants can obtain the nutrient. And third one is the gaseous phase. Here actually there is soil air, and also there is the vapor of the water, which can constitute the gaseous phase of soil. So that's why it is called a polyphasic system. And you can also understand how important a soil is from a quote by Franklin Roosevelt. He said that a nation that destroys its soil, it can destroy itself. So from this quote you can understand that how important a soil is. Coming to the component of the soil, a soil has a 4 component. It is, first one is soil solid, second one is organic material, third is soil water and soil air. In a ideal soil, there should be 50% soil solid, under which the 45% would be mineral component and 5% would be the organic material. Coming to the pore space, which is around 50%, under which in a ideal situation there should be water around 25% and air will also be around 25%. Now let's understand what are these components of the soil one by one. First important component is mineral matter. Here actually it includes the sand, silt and clay particle of the soil. However, the sand, silt or clay are composed of various types of primary and secondary mineral, and in soil we can find the primary minerals like quartz, mica, feldspar, and from this primary mineral, with the help of weathering, there is a formation of secondary mineral. These secondary minerals are the various types of silicate clays like kaolinite, montmorillonite, and also there is the limonite as well as hematite. Now our next important component is organic matter. It actually includes the decomposed organic material, partial decomposed organic material, partially synthesized plant and animal residues in the soil. However, when a soil contains higher amount of organic matter, that is more than 20% of its volume, then such soil is called organic soil. However, in case of India, the majority of soils here are mineral type of soil. Here actually the mineral matter of the soil is comparatively far higher than the organic matter of the soil. Coming to our next component, that is the soil water. We have understood that ideally in a soil there should be a pore space is around 50%. However, in case of ideal situation, soil water should be around 25%. Here the soil water is one of the most important part of the soil because it helps in plant growth. Here actually the soil water acts as a solvent for the various types of nutrient which are actually taken up by the plant for their growth as well as development. Coming to the next component of the soil, that is the soil air. The composition of soil air is more or less similar to the atmospheric air. However, there is the higher concentration of carbon dioxide which is around 0.25%. Actually, this higher level of carbon dioxide comes from the root respiration and the decomposition of the soil organic matter which releases carbon dioxide into the soil. Now, let us understand what is the soil horizon or how we can define a soil horizon. A soil horizon actually a layer of soil that is approximately parallel to the ground surface. However, the various types of soil horizons are found below the soil at various depth, and in general we can define there are four type of major soil horizon, that is O horizon or organic horizon, there is A horizon or mineral horizon, there is E horizon which is called zone of alluviation, there is the B horizon which is called the zone of accumulation or washing in. Also there is C horizon, it is actually unconsolidated rock, and R is the parent material. So from this sequence of horizon we can say that each soil has a unique combination of soil horizon, and each of these soil horizon has distinct properties. Like O horizon has a higher amount of organic matter content, A horizon has higher amount of mineral matter content, while in case of E and B horizon, here actually the accumulation of the silica as well as the sesqui oxide like iron oxide, aluminum oxide, they may be deposited here. While R is the parent rock from where with the process of weathering a soil can be formed over a period of time. Now let us understand how a soil is formed with the help of weathering. Here in this slide you can see that there is a hard consolidated rock on which there is the combined action of water, wind as well as organisms. These water, wind and organisms are called weathering agent, and with the help of their action this hard consolidated rock has been converted into the soil. Here actually soil formed through two stages. In the first stage, this hard consolidated rock are transformed into loose material, where the surface area of hard consolidated rock has increased, and on this increased surface there is the action of various types of water, wind as well as organism, and with the help of this organism this loose material are converted into the soil. Now let us understand what is the weathering, or what we can understand with the word weathering. We can define weathering as a physical disintegration as well as chemical decomposition of rocks as well as minerals. In case of physical disintegration, here we can say that the larger rock particles has been fragmented into various small pieces, while in case of chemical decomposition we can say that the chemical composition of rock or a mineral has been changed. Now let us understand what are the types of weathering on the basis of agent as well as mode of weathering pattern. The weathering has been classified into three groups. First one is the physical weathering, second one is the chemical weathering, and third one is the biological weathering. In case of physical weathering, here actually the huge masses of rocks are fragmented into smaller pieces. As a result, the surface area of these rocks has been increased, and on which the further weathering agents act. Here actually the physical weathering occurs due to the action of temperature fluctuation, wind activity, the act of water as well as ice and pressure. Coming to the next type of weathering, that is the chemical weathering. Here actually it occurs with the help of water as well as carbonic acid as well as hydroxyl ion. Here actually the water washes out or washes in some of the mineral constituents of a rock. Also the carbonic acid can solubilize some of the mineral content of the rock. As a result, the mineral composition of soil has been changed and the new minerals are formed. Coming to the third category, that is the biological weathering. Here actually it is the combined process of physical and chemical weathering, which is actually caused by biological organisms. These biological organisms may be bacteria, fungi, plant root, or any organism that can be found in our environment. And here the two most prominent agent for biological weathering is the tremendous pressure exerted by the root during its formation and extension, and the carbon dioxide released by the root during its respiration. Now let us understand what are the factors of soil formation. Actually the soil formation is very much slow process, and a soil is formed with the interactive effect of various types of factor. Such factors are, first is climate, it is the most important factor, and after that there is living organism, parent material, topography as well as time. These are called the 5 factors of soil formation, which was described by the scientist Hans Jenny. Now let us understand what do we mean by the climate. We have known that the most influential factor in the soil formation is climate. Here the rainfall as well as the temperature are the major component of climate that affects the various types of physical, chemical as well as biological weathering process. Coming to the temperature, there is a law that for every 10 degree centigrade rise in temperature, the rate of biochemical reaction has been doubled. So as a result, we can say that when there is an increase in temperature, the process of weathering as well as the decomposition of organic matter, their rate has been doubled and their speed has been doubled, and as a result the soil will be weathered more faster way. Our second factor is, that is the parent material. It is the actually the unconsolidated material from which soil develops. Hans Jenny defined the parent material as a state of soil system at the time of zero soil formation. It is formed due to the process of weathering or it may be formed by the transportation as well as the deposition from other places. And when we say about parent material can decide the present condition of soil, like its texture, pH, lime, salt content as well as the mineralogical composition of the soil. Our next factor is that is the topography. This topography actually defined on the basis of elevation as well as slope of the land surface, and you have noticed that the sloping and undulating land has a very thin soil horizon. This is because the most of the water that is lost through the runoff, and as the water is lost from the runoff, the water cannot enter the soil profile, and as a result mature soil cannot be developed. And for this reason, in the flat region where the water can be stored and they can enter into the soil profile, we can find the highly developed soil profile. Coming to the our third factor, that is the living organisms. In soil we can find the various types of living organisms like bacteria, virus, protozoa, fungi, algae as well as earthworm, nematode, and also there is also nowadays there is activity of human also. And with the activity of this living organism, a soil can be transformed or a parent rock can be transformed into soil over a period of time, and for this reason the living organisms are considered as a one of the important factor of soil formation. Coming to the some of the activities of the living organisms, we can say that the plant roots can penetrate the parent material in the search of nutrient, and when such roots dry, they actually create passages for the movement of water as well as the favorable environment for other biological species. Here also the plant roots can also release the carbon dioxide as well as organic acid, which can solubilize the minerals, and also the earthworm can ingest the soil and excrete them this soil material into the granular form, and in this way they can also affect the soil formation process. And coming to the our last factor of soil development, that is the time or age of the soil. When we say the age of a soil, we can say the period or time period from the start of soil development process to the present stage, or on the day on which we are calculating the soil age. And we also know that the soil formation is very slow process, and as a result of the combined action of climate, organism, relief, topography as well as the parent material, the inch of soil can be formed over 1,000 of years. So we must be more aware about soil health, as we have understood that once a soil has been deteriorated or degraded, it is not a easy process to create a new soil. On the basis of age of soil, a soil can be divided into two groups. One is the mature soil, another one is the young soil. A mature soil has a fully developed soil profile, while in case of young soil, the soil developmental processes are still active in this soil, hence the profile development has not completed yet. So dear learners, let's understand about what are the soil forming processes or the processes which are followed in the soil during the process of soil formation. Here actually there is fundamentally four process. First process is gain, second process is loss, third one is transformation, and fourth one is translocation. When we say the gain process, here actually the soil material has gained some new material from its external environment. It may be a soil water, it may be a soil organic matter, or it may be a new mineral within the soil which can affect the soil formation process. Coming to the loss process, during the weathering stages, some of the constituent of parent rock or soil itself may get lost with the time. So here also this loss can fasten or slow down the soil formation process. Coming to the third category, that is the transformation. Here actually one type of soil or mineral, or we can say soil constituent, can be converted into another form. Like when we add the soil organic matter or a fresh plant residue in the soil, with the help of humification process, this can be transformed into humus. And the fourth process is, that is the translocation. Actually in this process, the various types of soil constituent like silica, sesquioxide, organic matter can be translocated from one part of the soil to other part of the soil. Here actually, like with the help of rainwater, sometimes soil silica can be translocated from upper layer of the soil to the lower layer. So dear learners, let's take a break. After that we will discuss the various properties of soil.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्र ज्ञान ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर
शिक्षा और परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, हम अपना जीवन स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने,
Welcome back, dear learners. So we are discussing about the various types of soil forming processes and how a soil can be formed with the help of various types of factor. So now, dear learners, let's understand what are the various types of soil properties. We have known that the soil is a living material and a soil has the different type of physical, chemical and biological properties. So we can say that like a living human being, a certain kind of soil has a certain kind of physical, chemical as well as biological properties. So let's first understand what are the physical properties of the soil. Coming to our first physical properties, that is the soil texture. When we say the soil texture, it is actually the relative proportion of sand, silt, clay particles in the soil. And as we have understood that with the help of the sand, silt and clay particle, a soil has been formed, and when the relative proportion of this sand, silt and clay determines the various types of other properties of the soil. And a soil texture is a very much permanent property of the soil. Like a soil texture cannot be changed with the help of any kind of management practices. Now let's understand the various types of particle group that are generally found in the soil. Our first particle group is the clay, and here the diameter of clay particle is less than 0.002 millimeter, when we say the sealed, it is the soil particle whose diameter in between 0.022 to 0.022 millimeter. And when we say the fine sand, and it actually varies from 0.2 millimeter to 0.02 millimeter. And coming to the coarse sand, it is the soil particle whose diameter varies from 0.2 to 2 millimeter. So based on the diameter of this particle, the physical as well as chemical property of this particle can also vary. Now, how we can determine the soil texture? A soil texture can be determined by feeling the soil in between our thumb as well as forefinger, and when we feel the gritty type of soil, we can say that the sand content of the soil is high, and when we feel the flour or talcum like powder, we can say that this soil has a higher amount of silt content. Apart from this feel method, we can also determine the soil texture with the help of laboratory method also. Coming to this triangle, as you are seeing in this slide, it is called the textural triangle, and when we determine the sand, silt as well as clay percentage of a soil, from this triangle we can determine the which type of soil texture is prominent in our soil, and based on the relative proportion of sand, silt and clay, there are clay type texture, clay loam type texture, silt loam, sandy loam type texture that can be found in the soil. Coming to our next physical properties, that is the soil structure. Soil structure, it is actually the arrangement of the primary particles as well as their aggregates into certain definite pattern. These patterns are like plate like, prism like as well as block like and spheroidal like. So a soil structure can be grouped into 4 categories. Our first category is the plate like soil structure. Here actually this structure has flattened surface, and here the horizontal dimension is more than its vertical dimension. Our next soil structure is the prism type. Here the vertical dimension of soil is more developed than its horizontal dimension. Our third category is the block like structure. Here all the 3 dimension of soils are about of same type. So here the soil structure looks like a block. And the fourth and the most important soil structure type, it is the spheroidal like soil structure, and here actually it is ideal for satisfactory crop growth, and here the structural units are very much small and the spherical shaped, and it may be porous as well as non-porous. Coming to our next soil physical property, that is the soil porosity or the pore volume present in the soil. We have already understood that the ideal soil should have 50% pore space, and there are actually 2 type of pore space. One is macropore, which size is the more than 0.06 diameter, and also there is the micro or capillary pore whose diameter is less than 0.06 millimeter. Coming to the density, density is one of the most important property of a soil, and when we say the density, there are actually 2 type of density. One is particle density and another one is the bulk density. When we say particle density, it is the ratio of mass of soil solid divided by volume of soil solid, and here actually we are excluding the soil pore spaces. But when we say bulk density, here it is actually the mass of soil solid divided by volume of soil solid plus volume of soil pore space. So from this equation we can see that here in the definition of bulk density we are adding the volume of soil solid as well as volume of soil pore space. So when we apply the various types of management practices in soil, bulk density can be varied as the soil pore spaces can also vary due to our various types of management practices like tillage as well as the various types of soil machinery use. So this bulk density is most important from crop production point of view, and if a soil has a low bulk density we can say that it may be ideal for root growth or seed germination. Coming to our next soil physical property, that is the soil water. We know that water is a universal solvent. As a result, the various types of plant nutrients are dissolved in soil water, and then the soil water is called soil solution. And rainfall and snowfall are two major sources of soil water for plant growth. Apart from that, when there is shortfall of a rainfall or snowfall, we can apply artificial irrigation to the soil for crop growth as well as germination. And in this figure you can see that how a soil water can travel between the atmosphere, soil as well as ocean. There are various types of soil transforming processes like evaporation, condensation, or there may be runoff, leaching and percolation of soil, and through this process the water is cycled between the various component of ecosystem. Our next physical properties is soil color, and with the help of color we can first identify our soil. Here actually the color depends on the mineral composition, organic matter as well as water content. And our last soil physical property is soil temperature. Here actually the optimum soil temperature is essential for seed germination as well as root growth, and the sun is the main source of heat energy in our soil. So dear learners, thank you for today's session. In the next class we will meet up and discuss the various other chemical as well as biological properties of soil. Thank you.